Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing another coaster fight. This is of the two stand-up coasters I've ran at Six Flags parks. This is Georgia Scorcher at Six Flags in Georgia versus the Apocalypse The Last Stand at Six Flags America. These are both stand-up coasters and they're good rides, so I'm going to compare these two. So let's get started with the height category. Apocalypse is at 100 feet and Georgia Scorcher is 107 feet, so I'm giving them both about a 3. So they're both really not tall at all, so yeah, I'm just gonna give them both 3. Next up is the drop, and Apocalypse drop is okay, so I'm giving it a 5. And Georgia Scorcher has a good drop, so I'm giving it a 7. I like both the drops; they're not bad. They're just, compared to some other coasters, there's some better drops out there. Next up is speed, and Apocalypse goes 55 miles per hour, so I'm giving it a 4. And Georgia Scorcher goes 54 miles per hour, so that's getting a 4. You won't really feel a speed difference compared to these two rides. You won't really feel a speed difference, so they're just getting about the same score. Next up is layout, and Apocalypse gets a 7. Apocalypse has a good layout. It's kind of funky how literally there's a one straight section where which would really be a mid-course brake run, but there's legit no mid-course brake run. I find that really funny. That was one of the most memorable parts of Apocalypse. And I do like some of the versions, like those good corkscrews, and a vertical loop is nice and all. So yeah, it's kind of it's a good layout, but not my favorite. Georgia Scorcher has a pretty good layout. Definitely gets some nice tight turns in there with some great inversions, like a corkscrew and a vertical loop. And I love some of the tilt stuff and the drop. Georgia Scorcher has a pretty good layout overall, so Georgia Scorcher gets an 8. Next up is Smoothness. Apocalypse, when I wrote it, it was a bit rough, so I'm giving it a 6. Probably the roughest B&M I've ridden. I found it to have a bit of headbanging, so it wasn't exactly a smooth coaster compared to the other B&Ms I've ridden, so it gets a 6. And Georgia Scorcher gets a 7. I didn't really find Georgia Scorcher to be a headbanger. It just had a rattle to it, so it wasn't really shaky. It just kind of had a rattle, so I'm giving it a 7. But Georgia Scorcher is smooth though. I think the reason why it seems a lot rougher, I'm guessing it's probably pretty smooth overall, but it's just I think because you're standing up, you'll feel every vibration. So I'm pretty sure that's why Georgia Scorcher and Apocalypse they seem a bit rougher than they actually are. So I'm giving. They're both not really rough or anything. So I'm not giving them a low score. I'm giving them a fairly high score. Next up is transitions. And Apocalypse gets a 7. There'll be some transitions where you'll receive a little headbanging. So yeah, it's not the greatest transitions, but it's not the worst. And Georgia Scorcher gets a 9. Georgia Scorcher transitions through the elements actually very well, which is surprising. You won't really get any headbanging during some of the transitions, and plus they're snappy and rapid fire, which is what I love. So Georgia Scorcher gets a 9, Apocalypse gets a 7. Let's move on to the next category, which is elements. I'm talking about the inversions on the rides and layout. And so Apocalypse gets a 7. Apocalypse has some good inversions. You got the loop and corkscrew, and then you got that weird straight section, which is supposed to be a mid-course brake run, but there's literally no mid-course brake run. I find that super funny. When I wrote it, I was literally laughing because Six Flags America did not put a mid-course brake run on there. I'm pretty sure I know Six Flags America used to have this coaster, so I'm pretty sure blame it on them. Whoever designed this ride, congratulations for not putting a mid-course brake run. Not sure what you were trying to do there. But yeah, I just find that really funny. And also, the elements are good though. The vertical loop is good. The corkscrew was kind of rough, but they're good. And when the fire is on, it's just much better. Plus, it was the original B&M as well. So Georgia Scorcher gets an 8. Georgia Scorcher has some pretty good elements. I really like that vertical loop and that corkscrew and those tight turns and twists and helixes and stuff. Georgia Scorcher has a great layout for a stand-up coaster. Next up is intensity. Apocalypse I found to be an intense ride, so I'm giving it a 7. It's fairly intense. Georgia Scorcher is getting an 8. Georgia Scorcher I thought was pretty intense overall, which kind of surprised me. I was surprised by how intense Georgia Scorcher was. When I first read it, I was just blown away. And this is definitely mostly the reason why Georgia Scorcher is my favorite stand-up coaster that I've ridden at the moment. I still have yet to ride rides like Green Lantern and Ruler's Revenge, but Georgia Scorcher is currently my favorite stand-up. and mostly it's because of how intense it is. So yeah, Georgia Scorcher gets an 8. Duration is up next, and Apocalypse gets a 7. Apocalypse is around like 2 minutes or so I'm giving it a 7. Georgia Scorcher is getting a 4. It is 1 minute 24 seconds, so really not long at all. It's kind of like slightly below average, so I mean, yeah, not the greatest duration, but not the worst, so I'm giving it a 4. Next up is pacing, and Apocalypse is getting an 8. Apocalypse pacing was actually pretty well, which is kind of surprising. It definitely was a little bit of a slow section, which that's when he kind of flew through that fake mid-course brake run, or a straight section, if some people will call it. So that's where it kind of slowed down, but then it kind of like gained that speed back and stuff. It kind of had a good pace, so I mean, it's getting an 8. Georgia Scorcher is getting an 8 too. Georgia Scorcher had a great pace that kept through the entire ride. Kind of lost a little through the first vertical loop, but then I mean, kind of started getting it again. Like kind of going like the first few elements, it kind of like slowed down, but then it started just speeding through the rest of the layout, which I love that. So Georgia Scorcher gets an 8 as well. Next up is the theming. Apocalypse gets a 5. Apocalypse's theming is actually not bad for a Six Flags park. I liked it. I really like the apocalyptic theming and like all around stuff. I liked how it had a gift shop at the end of the ride. It would be better if the station were themed. The station wasn't really themed that well. I mean, the queue line was cool, and plus, like, there's fire throughout the ride stuff. I just think Apocalypse theming is cool. The Georgia Scorcher basically has no theming whatsoever. It's getting a 1. I'm pretty sure it's themed to, I guess, Georgia, the state, and putting your feet to the fire because of its intensity. So yeah, Georgia Scorcher gets a 1 still. Next up is restraints, and both are getting the same score. Both have the same restraints. I'm giving both a 6. I don't think the restraints on these rides are bad, but I mean, I know some people find stand-up coasters to be uncomfortable. I wouldn't say these are really uncomfortable. You just gotta know how to ride them. And because I know I've ridden a few of these, I've ridden 3 of the B&M stand-ups, so I kind of have a feel for how like you're supposed to ride stand-up. So probably because I know how to ride stand-up, it's actually not bad for me. So I'm giving them a 6. They're not the best restraints, but they're not the worst. And our final category is setting. Apocalypse is getting a 5. Apocalypse setting is okay. I mean, it's kind of in the field. I like how like I got rock work and like fire and all stuff. I think that was cool. It's a cool setting for the ride. I mean, you know, there's some better settings. The Georgia Scorcher is getting 8. The Georgia Scorcher's setting is actually pretty good. I like how you're kind of next to like the entrance to the park. Like literally, as people are walking to the entrance, they just next to them is this massive roller coaster just roaring right at them. I just think that's really cool. So yeah, Georgia Scorcher gets an 8. And we come down to our winner. And the winner of this coaster battle, or coaster fight, is Georgia Scorcher. Congratulations, you have defeated Apocalypse. When it comes to the 2 stand-up coasters that I've ridden at Six Flags parks, I think this one's definitely the better. And this is currently my favorite stand-up coaster that I've ever ridden. And I definitely think it deserves that title. It is a great roller coaster. Apocalypse is good, but I mean, I love Georgia Scorcher. I do like the Apocalypse though. It is good. I wouldn't say I love Apocalypse, but I do love Georgia Scorcher. But I mean, yeah, I'll discuss I'll make a review of Apocalypse pretty soon. I've already have a review of Georgia Scorcher, so if you go in the coaster review playlist, you can check out that review. But I mean, both these rides are good. So that will do it for this coaster battle or coaster fight. My bad. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, comment, and also don't forget to check out the social media link too for more updates. And don't forget to subscribe. Check out some of my more videos I've done, and I have a full playlist of other videos and other coaster fights out there. See you guys next time. Have a theme-tacular day.